before I get started, I'm going to set the pressure on number 59. I go all the way down to the bed with these pressure screws, turn them clockwise all the way down, and then back off about 8 or 9 half turns. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be about it. And you try to keep them level. There's a roller ruler on the side, and you can line up the top of the little brass block on both sides, and that way you keep the roller level, perfectly level. That's important to have even pressure all the way across. Having backed it up that way makes room for the blankets to go under. And then I tighten it back down about 4 turns, or whatever feels right to me. After my years of experience, I know about how it should feel. Pretty tight. And of course we'll know when we pull the first proof that was the right pressure. So the press is all set, and now I'm going to ink up and wipe the plate. I use oil-based ink. This is Charbonnel Soft Black etching ink, and I'd use a little piece of mat board for spreading the ink around on the plate. The plate is a copper etching. This is part of my series that I call the Artist Trading Cards in Copper, and I'll make 2 prints from this test plate to test the press, and 1 print will go with the press to the new owner, Jane, in Hawaii, and I will keep the other print. The plate also goes to the owner in Hawaii. This is a telephone book page. I like telephone book paper for paper wiping and just generally keeping things clean. This is called a sticky pad. It's that kind of sticky material you buy in kitchen supply places for putting things down and you don't want to slide around. I use it so that my plate doesn't slide around when I'm wiping it. I also have some talcum powder. I'm using baby powder today for a later hand wiping process. And I have tarlatan for the wiping of the plate, the general wiping of the plate. This is a hot plate. It's actually a hand iron that I put into a box to use as a little portable hot plate. And underneath this inking slab, I have some paper ready. This is arched cover paper, and I ran it under a tap for a minute, put it in a plastic sandwich bag, and when I'm ready to print, I'll just make sure there's no extra water on the surface, and I'll be ready to go. You want to hear a story?
Sure.
Come a little closer so I don't have to yell. This is a story about a priest who went late at night into a little part of Cadiz in Spain in 1740. And he found what he was looking for. 2 shops on that dark street. One was the shop of a steelwright, and the other was the shop of a musical instrument maker. They were friends. He knew he'd found the right place. He knocked on the door of the steelwright, and after a few minutes, the peak hole opened, and the steelwright said, "Who is it?" And the priest held up a gold piece. So the steelwright opened the door to the priest. He came in and he said, "I need you to build me an etching press, but it's not an ordinary etching press. I want you to collaborate with your friend across the way and make this press." And he opened a roll of paper and showed him the design. The steelwright was confused at first. He knew how to make etching presses, but he'd never seen one like it. "Why does it have this wood on it?" he asked him. And the priest said, "I'll tell you more if you're willing to make 25 of these presses over the next 3 years. And he laid down a little pouch of gold. Well, the steelwright was happy to take on the job, but still he didn't understand why it looked like it did. It looked more like a beautiful piece of furniture. The priest explained to him that he was on a special mission, that his order was going to take these presses to China by way of the New World, and there they would establish a printing operation to sell to the Chinese. And they understood from what they'd learned about China that they had a fondness for beautiful things. And that's why he wanted the Steelwright to collaborate with the musician to build a beautiful press, half wood and half steel. And that's where the design for the Halfwood Press came from. You like that story?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Little talcum powder on my hand. Give me a nice dry hand to wipe, do the finishing hand wipe. This plate has the number etched in it for number 59, and then on the bottom I've written in and etched in for Jane. That will personalize this copper plate. And when I'm all finished, I'll clean the plate and I'll laminate it into a special card, because it then is a collectible etched plate in the form of an artist trading card. Clean the edges, and it's ready to print. I'll warm it on the hot plate just briefly because the ink transfers better if it's warm. Arch's cover is one of my favorites for printing. It's an all-purpose watercolor printmaking paper. It's just great for etching. There's too much water on the surface, and so I'm just blotting it off with the telephone book paper. I'll turn the press around for the benefit of the camera so you can see me pull the proof. But before I pull the proof, I like to put on what I call the moment number. That is the moment it was printed. By the year, this is 2010, the month, May 5th, or May, and it's the 17th today. So the moment number is 10:05:17. And I like to put down the minute it was printed too. Right now it's using the 24-hour clock, 17:12. Awfully close to the date of my story by a few years. And there's the first trial proof. Now I'll print another proof. Finally, I'll clean the plate and laminate it, and this press will be on its way to Hawaii. I'm Bill Ritchie. Thanks for watching.